Well, hey there internet, and welcome to my Project Playtime Ultimate Survivor Guide Tips and Tricks. Below in the video timeline, you can go to the chapter you're interested to learn about, or check the description or pinned comment for those chapters. And make sure to like and subscribe for new videos coming out. Without further ado, let's break some ankles out there, survivors. First off, I want to cover some stuff that wasn't apparent when you first start playing. Rolling is a great tool to use in chases to gain small bursts of speed and distance. But just know during this roll, if you jump before completing the full roll, it preserves your speed and momentum, gaining a little bit of extra distance. In a game where your mobility is key to winning, every little bit of distance gained between you and the toy can be life or death. Being aware of your surroundings is very important to not being snuck up on. Sometimes when you're interacting with a puzzle pillar, the sounds can drown out the toy approaching you, allowing them to get easy down. It's okay to stop in the middle of a puzzle as it will save your progress, allowing either you or someone else to finish the remainder of the puzzle. Keeping an eye out for where a fellow survivor is down can give you an idea if you have enough time to complete a puzzle, or silently move away in time. Sound is very important to a toy as they can hear almost everything you do while in range. If attempting to hide, use a third-person camera to stay hidden behind objects while keeping an eye out for the toy's movements. Anticipating the toy's movements and slowly crouching around to avoid being seen is very tough, but the gamble will pay off as you can quickly continue doing the pillar you were next to. Otherwise, once you hear the toy approaching you, running away early and getting distance is the best thing you can do. During the chase, look for red and orange lights while running. Red lights normally indicate passageways or zones that can earn you extra distance. Orange lights tend to mark handles that can be grabbed to either use crash doors or grapple handles that you can swing over pits marked with red light. Depending on which toy you're going up against, you might want to go one way or another, since toys like Boxy Boo can easily cross over a pit with his spring jumps, but Huggy would have to take the long way around to catch up. Besides using environmental obstacles to gain distance, breaking line of sight and using low ceiling passages can confuse the toy. Always try to break a line of sight from the toy and move up or down a level using stairs, ramps, or openings in the floors or guardrails like in the toy factory. While running, the toys can track your footprints which disappear after a few seconds. There is a perk which helps reduce their visibility, but you can use the footprints to your advantage. Running around a corner while in chase and breaking line of sight, the toy might think that you continued on in that direction, while in reality you hid crouched in that corner and ran off behind the toy as they passed you. Mixing everything together, starting a chase with lots of distance between you and the toy, using the lights to know where to run for crash doors or grapple handles, while constantly breaking the line of sight and moving to new upper or lower levels lets you continue this cycle, resulting in you getting away. Most of the time it either takes a very long time to catch me, or the toy gives up and moves on to another survivor. The important thing to note is the beginning distance you have, which leads up to planning your loops or escape plans. If the toy reaches you, all you can really do is run through the toy to confuse them while rolling to gain distance and reach something that can give you more time. At that point, that's your best option to live a little longer, so before you can even see the toy, start running. Now talking about the perks, I had to do some testing to make sure this wasn't a bug. It seems you can equip up to 3 perks while your HUD in-game only shows 1 perk equipped. I did a few tests and yes, the perks work just fine, so you can create a perk build that suits your playstyle. I'll cover all the perks and give a rundown on how good or bad they are in my opinion. Power Walker increases the speed in which you walk around. Running is not an option while trying to hide as it leaves footprints behind which the toy can see and your footsteps can be heard easier. Some might think that walking might be the better option here, while in my opinion, Shadow Walker, our next perk, is a stronger option with its increase to your crouching speed. Most of the time you're either running or walking then crouching to hide in a dark area or behind an object. The crouch speed would come in handy more often than increase to walking, as I've noticed I run or crouch more than walking in my matches. Leave No Trace is one of my favorite perks to use, as it decreases the time your footprints stay behind, meaning if you have a good distance from the toy and break a line of sight, it becomes very difficult to keep track of your movements, and they can only rely on sound at this point. This is one of my core perks, leaving the toys confused all the time and giving me a chance to get back to work on a puzzle. Think Fast is one of the 3 perks that deal with the puzzles you encounter during a match. This perk allows extra time to hit the buttons on the reflex puzzle. Honestly, unless you have major issues with this puzzle, I can't recommend this one. Genius, our next puzzle perk, keeps the lights lit up on the memory puzzle for an extra second. This is one of the puzzles that I find extremely annoying, but still wouldn't recommend using this perk. As long as you remember that the button patterns either make contact with each other or don't, you can try to remember the general layout of the lights and fill in where you might have forgotten. It's a bit confusing, but once you understand it, you can save yourself from failing a puzzle if you forgot the last 2 buttons or so. Last of the puzzle perks is Master Pianist, which is the only one I recommend to get. This brings the piano puzzle from 6 patterns to complete to only 3. I would put this as my number 1 perk to bring. You just can't go wrong with it. Plus, it can help complete a pillar that a toy is patrolling a lot. Leadership is a great perk if you and your fellow survivors can escape chases with a toy, since there's no other way to heal yourself or others besides using this perk. If you're healing a teammate within your radius, you will also heal yourself if you're hurt. It's always good if someone brings this perk with them. This can help with train escapes, or I can finally get healed after being chased by the toy like 3 times. Speaking about health, we have the next perk, Punching Bag. Having 45% more health is insane and a must for me. For those times when the toy sneaks up on you in the middle of a puzzle, this can give you a second chance to escape their clutches. Very strong perk and one of my go-tos. For the final perk, Distant Savior, increases the speed that you rescue another survivor from the feeding pit. Great to use if a toy is guarding a pit or is roaming around that area in particular. Otherwise, I'd rather you bring Leadership to heal me. My 3 perks would be Master Pianist, Punching Bag, and Leave No Traces. I feel like this is a great build for my playstyle, giving me plenty of opportunities during chases to get away, and cutting the longest and most annoying puzzle in half. Hopefully with time, you'll become the expert survivor I know you can be. Just stop hiding in lockers. I've seen way too many people hide in lockers even with the toy nowhere around. If you master these tips and tricks, you too can become a #NoLockerGigaChad, okay? Take your time, learn the maps, and just keep playing. The worst that can happen is that I'll be the toy. Start running, and try to break them ankle, survivors.